Hi, I'm Loriann Putzier, President and co-founder of IntegraCare Corporation, and I'm here once again to share our weekly update with respect to COVID-19 for week ending November 20th, 2020. This week's message is very thought-provoking and sadly pretty simple, but not necessarily the greatest news. So today I plan to share only two things with you. The first of those is to share with you what is happening right now inside of each of our communities related to COVID-19. After this message, I do urge you to visit our website to get more particulars of the community where your loved one resides. Today, my intention is to share a snapshot of the impact of the outbreaks of COVID-19 following and trending after the incidence rates in each of the counties surrounding our communities. Please listen with intent. The numbers in Bedford and Chambersburg are staggering and profoundly thought-provoking, and a cause for pause as you consider this holiday season. Colonial Courtyard at Bedford. Last week we reported to you 51 infected residents and 24 team members. This week, that number has increased to 52 residents and 27 team members for an incremental gain of 1 resident and 3 team members. Also, very devastatingly, 6 residents have died. Of those 6, 3 were already on hospice and were obviously severely compromised health-wise, and the virus certainly just made that all the worse. So our thoughts, prayers, and sympathies and condolences are extended to those families. We are sorry for your loss. Chambersburg. Last week we reported 12 residents and 8 team members. This week it is 15 residents and 13 team members, an incremental gain of 3 residents and 5 team members. Sadly, at Chambersburg, we have had 1 death with COVID-19. Again, to that family, please accept my and our condolences for your loss. The Woods at Cedar Run. Last week we reported 0 residents and 1 team member, and now we are at 1 resident and 2 team members, and are operating in the red zone because of having a positive resident in the community. New Haven Court at Linwood. Last week we reported 0 residents and 0 team members. This week we have 1 isolated incident with a resident and 0 team members for an incremental 1 resident. That places the Linwood community in the yellow precautions. New Haven Court at Clearview. Last week 0 residents, 0 team members. This week we are reporting 0 residents, thankfully, and 1 team member. Obviously, that positive places us in the red at Clearview. Colonial Courtyard at Tyrone. Last week, 0 residents, 1 team member. Currently, 0 residents and 2 team members for an incremental gain of 1, and that has our Colonial Courtyard at Tyrone in the red zone. Candlelight Cove. Last week, 0 residents and 1 team member, and this week, 0 residents and 1 team member. Again, this places Candlelight Cove in the red zone, and those precautions are being taken. The Pines of Mount Lebanon. Fortunately, we reported 0 and 0 last week, and we are 0 and 0 this week. That's a bright spot for not only me, I'm sure it's a bright spot for all of you just listening to this. Magnolias of Lancaster. We were 0 residents and 0 team members and remain 0 and 0. Colonial Courtyard at Clearfield. We were 0 residents and 0 team members, and we remain 0 and 0. And certainly, last but not least, Hunter's Woods at Trail's Edge in Virginia. We were 0 and 0 and remain as such. Again, please visit the website for more particulars. So, when I think about this, I want you to take a moment and think about the residents that have died of this terrible virus. considering all the precautions that we have taken and that I have shared on these videos. Also, please take a moment to consider the great heroes who are soldiering on every single day to these communities to protect the numerous other residents. Their hearts are broken. They are tired. They too have fears for their own families and themselves. Yet, they show up every day, ready to suit up in full PPE and provide the best love and care and empathy humanly possible. Let's help them to help your loved one. Let's choose the path of safety. These are unconventional times and call for unconventional measures. Which brings me to number 2, what's happening for the Thanksgiving holiday. As I shared last week, we are planning the most special Thanksgiving meal that we can come up with for our residents. On that most heartwarming of days, we will be their family and we will care for them and make it special with each of you in our hearts and minds. We feel your sense of loss as you remain apart. As I thought about that, I would like to share a little bit about myself, as I had a family member ask me on a phone call if I really could understand how sad they really are and how important it is for them to be able to see their loved one. As such, the photo you are seeing on the screen is a photo of my family. These are the very important people in my life. My husband, John, my mother, Sandra, my siblings, and my nieces and nephews. My mother, Sandy, is the warm, smiling face in the middle. She is 81 years old, and she lives alone. And this picture is a picture of us, our family, on vacation together for my mother's 80th birthday. When I look at the smiles on everybody's faces in that photo and I reflect on the trip, I desire more than anything to be with that group of people on Thanksgiving holiday. It is actually our family's favorite holiday together. And I think about not only the meal and the gratitude I have for each of them, but the fun conversation that we have after dinner, the family banter, all of those things that I'm sure you probably are thinking about too. But the bottom line is that dinner, that Thanksgiving dinner for my family also will not happen. We will not be together for Thanksgiving. We will be together in our hearts, in our prayers, and perhaps a Zoom call to have a toast to celebrate the things that we do have to be grateful for, the health of each of us, each other, and the idea that we will soon be together. And as I thought about it, the family member that I spoke to me said, it's not the same. And the reality is, I get that because I feel that too. It is not the same. It actually breaks my heart that we won't be together. But what it does make me realize is that we are keeping our family safe and subsequently keeping safe all the other people in our circles of influence, all the other people that we touch in this world. And so in a weird, strange twist, we are paying it forward. And that's what I'm choosing to focus on as I move forward. Our family is paying forward safety for someone else. If we all pay it forward, perhaps we will contain the spread and keep more residents, more team members, and all families safe. The numerous people in our circles of influence are going to basically benefit from the decisions that we all make. Please consider not taking your loved one out of the community for Thanksgiving. I realize that I am asking a great sacrifice of all of you, but I am asking it in the interest of keeping everybody safe on this most special of holidays. Thank you for considering. Please practice all of your safety protocols. Wear your mask, good hand sanitizing protocols, social distancing, and not going out unless absolutely necessary. I think if we all could commit to that, we could move forward during this pandemic. Thank you, warm wishes, and please be safe. Goodbye.
IntegraCare. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for our team members, residents, and their families.